this guy in front of me. Yeah, how did Debbie Harry get involved in the movie? That's a really good question. I wish Debbie Harry were here too. But I remember very clearly at the time, I mean, Debbie Harry was like, you know, the #1 kind of pop star at the time. And I'm sure it was like, you know, I could just imagine that phone conversation, can't you? Between Debbie Harry and John Waters. Because there's only like 2 songs in the film, and both of them Debbie Harry wrote. You know, Charlene?
Steve Baters, who plays Bobos in the Dead Boys, and the Dead Boys are a punk band that used to be on the. So I was just saying again. So Steve Baters, who plays Bobo, is in the punk band the Dead Boys, who were quite central in CBGBs. So maybe they were just friends with Debbie Harry that way.
Thank you.
Stuart, weren't you saying that's where they found his name escapes me, the son as well? Wasn't that from CBGB's?
Yes, I can't remember, but they decided they needed that character and they didn't have anyone, so they went to New York and they walked into this bar on the Lower East Side and spotted him straight away and said, "Hey, would you like to be in a movie?" And the guy was really shocked, and they talked him into it. He went down to Baltimore the next day, and he got the part, joined the house, joined the crew of the film, and has never done anything since.
It's a masterpiece, it doesn't need to, quite frankly. Questions, comments? Yeah, just down here?
I found some of it just so bizarre. I mean, the nuns going for a hayride in a school. What was all that about?
Well, they were trying to get them to have miscarriages, weren't they?
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
But I love the way he subverts that, the AA meeting. That normally you've got these really somber, you know, we're on your side. The way he subverts that, go on, it was absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, in the back there.
I thought watching it again, it was interesting that Mink Stoll was perpetrating the prank phone call, and then Serial Mum, she's the victim of
Yeah, that really made me think of Serial Mom, you know, with the things flashing up with the little people on the phone, you know, they keep saying pussy, Willow. Yeah, she's obviously just trying to perfect it in this film. Any other observations?
Avalanche sample, obviously, from the psychiatrist.
Yes.
I think that's more than 10 years old, isn't it?
Any other comments? Because I could just sit here and quote John Waters' films for ages, so just not me. Yeah, just go.
So this is only my second John Waters film, the first one being Serial Mom, which I loved. So I'm wondering what your favourite John Waters films are and why exactly. What one that you'd recommend to the listeners to be your favourite?
I don't know. I think Desperate Living, I don't know. I just love Desperate Living. But it's a long time since I've seen it. I saw the Movers in the Electric in Portobello when it was everybody's sort of film education. So we were lucky to see them soon after they, you know, came out in America or a year later kind of thing.
Do you have a favourite then?
I do love Multiple Maniacs. That's kind of, it's sort of a morality tale. I mean, it's one of the like early, blatantly scandalous, outrageous ones. It's got like the rosary job scene in a church, and it's got lobsterer who comes and is this kind of 8-foot lobster who comes and breaks divine. Which is a spectacular scene in itself, but it's also this amazing transformation scene where Divine is kind of sort of at her most monstrous, but then at her most sort of vulnerable and sacrificial. And it's a real, like, I mean, you see the kind of Catholic upbringing a little bit with the nuns in this film, but Multiple Maniacs, like, could only be made by a really fucked up Catholic boy. Like the infamous
crowd appears and they go on a tour and yeah, I love that film.
Mine, I mean, I love all of them. I love, Hairspray will always have a really special place in my heart. And I love Serial Mom. But I think my favorite is Female Trouble.
Yes!
Yes! Just Dawn Davenport is such an icon. And there seems to be, you know, it's interesting how John Waters deals with rape in a lot of his films, because, you know, the whole film like starts basically with, you know, I'm sure you're familiar, Dawn Davenport not getting the cha-cha heels she wanted for Christmas, and trashing the Christmas tree and storming out of her family home on Christmas Day, and then being raped effectively by herself, but as divine as in his mufti as a man. And this sort of these cutaway shots, and it's just bizarre. It's really fucked up, but it's just so compelling. And I don't know, there's so many quotable bits from Female Trouble, like one that I always think is very quotable, but is also really good advice, which is pretzels give you plaque. Which is true. And it was just such a throwaway line. There's also loads of lesbians in Female Trouble. They're basically baby machines. But the baby machines are set up to sell children to lesbians. So, yeah. It's brilliant. Please do watch it if you can.
I wanted to put in a comment about Female Trouble too, because I think it's incredibly beautiful in a lot of ways, but it also, he's really taking the piss out of artists in Female Trouble, and I think that the thing about this movie too is he's also really commenting about, you know, at the end when the son becomes an artist, you know, he's not crazy anymore, he's now an artist, you know, and it really, that crowd in 1981 and 1982 was really, everybody was really intimate with everybody, and they were all making fun of each other at the same time, because they were all becoming stars as artists, but also they all knew it was a joke too, so it was I love that bit of it.
I'd also like to say, you know, as a fat girl, to see fat girls being sexual, being desirable, being funny, being glamorous and ugly and disgusting and drunk and slovenly and beautiful and perfect and loving on screen through Divine is a really liberating thing, because quite often fat girls in films are very, very one-dimensional. And you see John Waters really dealing with a lot of these issues in this film, you know, when, you know, her husband's like ordering all the pizzas to her house and sort of tormenting her with pig sounds and stuff, but yet, you know, she still is like having sex with Tab Hunter. And in Female Trouble, where, you know, she's just convinced that she's the most beautiful woman in the world, even though she's, you know, she's 6'2", 350 pounds, a double F cup, and has really bad facial scarring as a result of an accident, that she's still, like, desirable. And I think that, you know, that says so much to all of us, whether you're fat, whether you're not fat, whether you just see yourself as different in some way. You know, if you take that metaphor to the nth degree, I think it can apply to so many of us, really. Any other questions?
Your mic.
Questions or comments? Yeah. Sorry, can we answer your question?
I guess, who do you think are John Waters' successors, or who is most following his style, or anyone close to his style as possible these days?
That's difficult. I mean, I think he's a one-off, but I think his European equivalent would be someone like Pedro Almodovar. You know, in a very different way, but he's dealing with a lot of the same subject matter, and but in you know, coming out of a completely different situation of growing up under Franco and, you know, liberation, and you know, but still has that strong Catholic element to everything.
And without there as well, the film Wow.
Yeah,
It's in a
yeah,
period.
yeah. The references to other films and the kind of richness of the quotability of the films as well.
I mean, I guess a certain amount of it is maybe online now, in terms of those certain aspects of John Waters that are just about ripping the piss out of adverts and kind of normative culture and stuff that you get on, I mean, things that come to mind, like Chloe, the Drew Drogi sort of Chloe videos, or Cheese, the versions of like the Gem cartoons, you know, with just like disgusting filthy voice, you know, it's like the original, I don't know if you guys have seen the Jizz videos on YouTube, are amazing. It's like footage from Gem and the Holograms, the 80s sort of cartoon series, just overlaid with these like filthy stories about abortions and, you know, dealing and raping, like very kind of John Waters type, like fucked up families, like these queer families.
Do you think there's anyone taking on the modern day mantle of John Waters, either in live performance or film or in any medium?
Well, for me, David Hoyle perhaps is the one, really. And also Scotty, I think, too, especially because Scotty is large, and so he fits right into that. The kind of
They could definitely share the same girdle.
Yes, yes.
Any other comments? Otherwise we'll... Oh. Yeah. And there's somebody over here as well.
Just one little thing, going back to the bus. It reminded me of, have I got this right, Ben, of the Rosa Parks case.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really clear, very funny reference back to one of the classic civil rights incidents in America.
Yeah, absolutely. She doesn't get to the back, she fucking drives it.
I just wanted to comment on something that you just mentioned. I think there's a lack of craziness in queer cinema at the moment. There's very little of that intelligent, crazy, but at the same time very political approach. I go to a so-called queer cinema section in the shops, and just pretty boys and pretty girls doing very, very normative things. So I totally agree. Scotty is rocking the boat, and I hope there will be more artists that will rock the boat in the future as well. Thank you.
Okay, I'm aware that some of you might want another drink. Some of you might want to go on over to the Eagle for the nitrate evening. I guess that just leaves me to remind you to dig deep and donate if you can, and to join me in thanking everyone here at the Cinema Museum for hosting us tonight. And then, thank you very much. Good night.
And thank you very much to Amy for doing such a great job. And do people understand that you can go to the Eagle at 349 Kennington? You just basically go out to the main road, take a right, and it's a launch of a new event, the weekly show there, which is giving donations back to Cinema Museum. If you show your ticket, you'll get in for free. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. Thank you so much for coming. Oh, and the movie next at the end of June is going to be She Done It Wrong with Mae West.
Done him wrong.
Okay, thank you.